Today, we sat down with JackGV, an artist who's been making music for over a decade, but has only recently started gaining major traction within the past year and a half.
And I actually made $10,000.
But music isn't his only talent. He's also the creative mind behind some of your favorite Hmong music videos. This is 20 Unfiltered Questions with JackGV.
What is the difference between just Jack and JackGV?
Oh, man, that is a good one. I think the biggest difference would be who I naturally am. Because when I'm just Jack, I am much more chill and just like relaxing, hanging out with friends and more casual. But then when I'm JackGV or I have to step into that character, then it's more like, oh, now I'm an artist, celebrity, I'm an influencer, and I have to kind of, it's not like I'm trying to be two-faced, but it is kind of like acting, where I do have to treat people with like respect or like, be able to have photos, take photos with people, or just be in a good mood all the time, and not have to just be like, oh, I'm Jack and I don't want to talk to you at all. Like I have to be like, okay, I am a celebrity. I have to do all that. And I have to, cater to people because that also adds to the whole imagery too, right? Because then you also have to look good and you also have to talk nice to people. Because if you don't, people are not going to like you and they're not going to want to follow you, right? So yeah, that would be the biggest difference.
What are your top 3 Hmong artists right now?
Right now, I think my top 3 would be New Song. What is it? I've been listening to Arlene a lot. Arlene Paul, she's from overseas. And then I've been listening to TJ Henny a lot. Yeah, I really do like TJ Henny's music, and I've wanted to collab with him too. We just haven't figured that out yet, but those would be my top 3, right now.
And then who's your favorite from BBD?
My favorite BBD member? Damn, that one's hard because I kind of enjoy everybody. But I would have to say my favorite BBD member would be, I'm going to say Danny, because Danny's like really easygoing and he's just like having fun all the time and very chill guy, It's never like, oh, like arguments or anything or like butting heads a lot, It's more like he just kind of goes with the flow, And so we could kind of like hang out too as just like friends too. We don't have to. It's not always business and everything. So I do like Danny the most.
What is your favorite music video or music project you've created?
Ooh, dang. That's a hard one because I do enjoy a lot of my music videos that I've worked on. But I do enjoy Chenning's what was it called? Oh, Gu Ying Bao. So Gu Ying Bao was a really fun project because we did get actors and actresses and we had a lot of people come and be a part of it. And that allowed me to really use my creativity to film it since I was the director, pretty much the director of photography. And so I was in charge of like every single angle to lighting and everything. So I controlled everything. But I really enjoyed it because of the concept of it. And I've always wanted to film like more intimate scenes because then it's like, how do you portray all the emotions? How do you make it look realistic, even though these two people don't even like know each other or have never like acted together before? And the actor, he was actually like not even an actor too. He's just kind of like a friend that they asked to do. And so how do I navigate that with them, seeing that they're inexperienced, but able to create this story and make the relationship look realistic? And so that part, it was really fun to just think about which angles to do to make it look more correct and to make the emotions come out correctly. So that's what I really enjoyed about it.
What are you most proud about BBD?
What am I most proud of BBD? I am most proud of all the concerts we've done. Seeing that we've only been active for about almost a year now, or half a year. It's still kind of like within the 1 year mark. And so I'm really proud of all the concerts we've been able to do because like I said, every concert we've thrown has been like on average 300 to 400 people every single time. And that is a lot of numbers, because I've been to concerts where like it's like really dead and doesn't have anybody. And we're able to do that every single concert that we've thrown so far. And not only that, we've also worked with a lot of community members and we've been sponsoring a lot of teams and people that are just involved with the community, like pageants. And a lot of them have gone and won like first place, or when we sponsor a sports team, they've gone and won first place. And so it's just, we're doing this more for the community, not so much for just ourselves. And we want to provide that platform for everyone. And we're already starting to do a lot of that when we just began. Yeah.
What is the best piece of advice you would give to an upcoming artist?
The best piece of advice is make sure you work on your craft first. Like if you're literally just starting, make sure you work on your craft. And by that, I mean like work on your singing. Or if you're a rapper, work on your lyricism. And you could do that by just listening to the people that you like to listen to and look into it a little bit more in detail of like, okay, I sort of say, for example, I really like Surprise, right? Then I'm like, oh, why do I like Surprise? The lyrics that he chooses, is it how he chooses to deliver it? Is it how he's rapping? And so I always try to look really into detail of like, why did he choose to write that specific lyric? And why did he choose it to say it like that in the song? And then through that, through a lot of like research and through a lot of just reviewing other people's work, that allows you to work on yourself too and to really build on your artistry and your craft. Because again, at the end of the day, no matter what, your voice is your product. You know, no matter what, you do have to be able to rap or you do have to be able to sing. Given that, yes, there's maybe auto-tune and there's a lot of ways to make you sound good, but if you're able to deliver it, you don't have to stress out about all of that extra stuff and having to pay somebody to do all those things. And plus, if you go perform live, then now you can deliver it too and not just like sound bad live, but be good as a recording artist. So yeah.
How far do you plan to take your career as an artist?
Oh, I plan to take it as far as I can because I do want to focus on the branding, the marketing, and if I can be like mainstream ever one day, like I would love that too. Of course, you know, I'm not gonna like set too much expectations where it's like if I don't make it, then oh my God, I suck, I can't do it. Because I used to be like that, but now it's like wherever I go, if I make it, I make it, and I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt every time, you know, or I guess not a grain of salt, but I'm gonna take it in for what it is and not be so like upset about everything that, oh man, I don't have this, I don't have that, or I'm not here yet. But it's like, oh no, I have already created something for myself, whether it's big or small, it's there and I've done it, and that's all I need to do.
What has been the most challenging piece you've worked on, music or video wise?
Oh, the most challenging piece I've worked on would probably be Ting Cha by Tuki Zhang featuring Kevin Pengshong. That was such a hard project because it took us like 3 days to film it. And we had like multiple locations and we had a lot of extras and like actors and actresses that are involved. And we did a lot with makeup effects. And really, it was just a lot of new things that I've never done before. But now being able to do that with the team. And it was just very complex because we had when Tuki approached us, he just kind of gave us the idea that he wanted to do something like this. And then I was like, okay. So I had to go to the back and like really create all of that, all his visuals, and in a way that makes sense, right? Because a music video, it's like you're kind of stuck to just like 3 minutes. You don't have like the short film where you're the flexibility of time. It's like I have to be able to fit all of the story in 3 minutes. So how do I do that? You know, and so I would have to like pick and choose of like, okay, which scenes are more important? How do I be able to tell this story within 3 minutes? And that was, I think, one of the most complex projects I've worked on, just because there was so much story to do within 3 minutes.
How does success look like to you in the Hmong community?
Honestly, success is more for like, I feel like a personal thing. It's like if you feel successful, even if you just like maybe have a song that has like 300 views, then I think that's already success. And you doing it in the first place is like success as well too. Because a lot of people, they don't even start, you know? And so for me, then like I view success for myself as like I've already done small little things. Whether it's like I've completed or I've gotten like 10 million views, it's like, no, even if I put out a song and it got like 1,000 views, I'm going to accept that. And that's success for me. Yeah.
How do you hope your work will help contribute to preserving or evolving the Hmong community?
My work, I feel like it's very important to the Hmong community because like I always say, Hmong language is so important. And, you know, a lot of our generation now, we're slowly losing the language, and us creating Hmong music allows for the language to live on. You know, whether in 10 years, if everybody stops speaking Hmong or something, then we still have the music around that. It's still being listened to, especially by the younger generations, like kids. Like right now, none of the kids can really speak Hmong, but they're still able to listen to Hmong songs and still hear the words and to still be able to like speak it in a sense because they're singing along too. And so I think what I'm doing, my work is very impactful to the community in terms of language and preserving that.
And what is the most money you've spent on a video or music project?
I think I don't really use too much money because most of the time I'm getting paid to do it. So it's more like I'm gaining money. But but if I've spent it's mostly music where I spend money. I think the most I've spent on a project is probably just maybe like 400 or 500. Because the thing is, I've learned how to do everything myself already. So then I'm very self-sustainable. So I don't have to go pay like someone to mix and master or pay someone to produce something for me, where I already know how to do all that for myself. And that was like, because I always grew up not having a lot of money and being able to like pay for all these things. So then I had to learn how to do it myself. And through that, I was self-sufficient.
What is the most money you've made from music?
Oof. The most money I've made from music is actually through my song Kutotsi. And I actually made $10,000. Yeah. I mean, of course, it was like 10,000 because of the amount of views it was able to get within a short amount of time. Yeah. So I was able to get like 1 million views within like, I think, a month time frame. And it was like $10,000, and then it still like gradually grows every single month. And so it's not just like a one-time payment. It's like gradual growth, just depending on how many people are listening to it within that month time frame. But yeah, so 10,000.
What was one of the hardest sacrifices you've made to pursue your art?
One of the hardest sacrifices was honestly everything. I feel like I focused on music so much that I didn't pick up on any other hobbies as much. And so there was a lot of times where I really wanted to give music up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been doing music for so long. Like, even after like 5 years, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing music for like 5, 6, 7 years. And my music has not like popped off at all. It's still just getting maybe a few hundred views or a few thousand views, but not like nothing crazy. And so I felt like I was ready to give it up, because then if I give it up, I can go focus on other things, like maybe go focus on a specific career that pays me well, or go back into the workforce, or go to college again, or maybe get a new degree. I don't know. But I feel like I was just like, I'm gonna just stick it through, and eventually it'll pay off. And the moment that I was ready to give up, like I literally told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do music like as an artist anymore. I'm just gonna do it as a hobby. I'm gonna give up. And then boom, my song Kutotsi pops off, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, wow, what a time, like what a coincidence. And so yeah, I feel like I think the sacrifice is like about almost everything, because you're like really just trying to pursue it and make sure it works, even though I could have just dropped it and focused on like a different career. Yeah.
What is the hardest critique you've had on your work?
The hardest critique, I've got a lot of critiques back when I started too. People are like, oh my gosh, like you suck, and like, oh man, like you need to do better, or like I don't even like care about your music and stuff like that. So people have said a lot of mean things, but to me, I kind of just like blur it all out and not really like pay attention or focus on it too much. I focus on the good, like there are people out there like, oh yeah, like, you are doing well, or like keep it up, that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just focus on those people. And so critique wise, yeah, the worst, I guess, yeah, it's like people saying like, oh, you suck, or like your music's not even good, but yeah.
Was there one that like you remember distinctly?
Yeah, there's one where, it was literally just that, but I remember distinctively because it was like one of the first comments ever that I received that was like, oh, you suck. And I'm like, wow, I've never like actually heard somebody tell me that directly, Yeah. It wasn't like, of course, them telling me in person, but it was through a comment on social media. And I was like, wow, like at that time, I was just like starting. I was probably maybe just like a year or two in, and I was still just playing on my acoustic guitar. My singing was not the best. Yeah, and then they said that, and I was like, wow, dang, do I really still want to keep doing this or not? But I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing it and not really care too much, because look at where I'm now. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't suck now, but yeah.
What is one thing you wish more people understood about you or your work?
I wish people understood the amount of work that it takes to do this, because, sometimes you just see people releasing songs and stuff, and there's actually so much more work that happens behind the scenes, where we do have to look into, finding the beats. Like if I can't produce it or compose it myself, or pay a producer to make it for me, then I do look at beats. And even the idea of looking at beats is like, I listen very carefully to how it starts, to where the chorus comes in, and is this a song that I feel like the community, the Hmong community, would enjoy listening to? And then moving on to that, once I do find the beat, then I have to, come up with melodies, come up with lyrics. And of course, I don't want to write the same lyrics over and over again. So I have to think outside the box of like, okay, what is a new concept I can talk about? Or how do I say the same thing, but in a different way, And that comes with a lot of work. Sometimes it takes me like months to like a few weeks to a few months to maybe even a few years to finish a song. And then not only that, it's the recording process too. Like I always tell all these like people that I have worked with in the studio that, the reason why I charge maybe like $500 for a studio session is because in that studio session, it's not just like 1 hour or 2 hours. It's like, it may take up like 8 hours just to record a whole song. or maybe even longer, because maybe I record it today and I listen tomorrow, it might suck. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I got to re-record a few things. And then to the whole mixing and mastering side too, so that I do mix and master my own music as well. And that took a long time to learn too. It wasn't just that I didn't go to classes for it or anything. I just did a lot of research online. It was a lot of like listening over and over again, that my ears just became attuned to what sounds good and what sounds off. And so that whole process, and then even to the whole marketing too and branding, then I have to look at, okay, if I'm releasing this as like a music video, or am I releasing this as a lyric video or just a visualizer, then I have to think about the visualizer. What photo am I going to use? How am I going to edit it? How do I make the video interesting? And then to like, what kind of clothes do I need to wear? What kind of photos do I need to take? And leading to even the cover art on Spotify or streaming platforms. So you got to think about the cover art, that what kind of cover art do I want that matches the concept of the song and that can tell a story, I guess. And so there's just a lot of layers and steps that go into it. And then even to the whole like launching the song, because I don't just like randomly launch it when I'm done. It's like, okay, I strategically plan it for like, so to say, like right now it's February and it's moving into like the wedding season, which is usually in the spring, is when a lot of people get married. And so I already understand that. So I'm going to make a wedding song. So I plan based on holidays and based on time frame as well too. Or if it's like the summertime, I'm gonna make upbeat, happy songs. I'm not gonna make like a sad song. But once it moves to like the winter time, then okay, this is when I can start doing sad songs, because everybody's just at home inside, not really doing much. And so it's a lot of thinking and launching. And then I always launch on Fridays as well too, because if you go research it, they actually say you do a lot better when you release on like Fridays. Like your songs just get viewed a lot more. People are off work, and even the timing too. I always release at 5 p.m. because then people are off work. Then now they can start listening to music, because if they're at work, they can't listen to music, or sometimes they can't. And so it's just a lot of thought process that goes through it. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that process. But I think once they do understand that, they will be able to support us as artists more.
Have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome?
I feel like I have. I feel like everybody kind of goes through that, especially within this industry. It's such a like diverse industry, and plus being here in the US, we're competing with so many people that I feel imposter syndrome quite a lot. Yeah.
How do you get over it?
I think you just gotta not focus so much on it. Instead of like, oh man, I can't do it because of this, that. It's more like, I'm gonna just do it because I'm gonna do it and I can. And not feel like you're not good enough, because it's like, it doesn't matter. Like everybody starts somewhere. Like sure, there are the ones with, a little bit more luck that gets off right away. But it's like everybody starts somewhere, and you just got to focus on your journey and your process and believe in the process.
What is the biggest regret you've made starting your business?
Which business? I guess. I mean, overall, I think the biggest regret, I feel like for the term regret, I don't use it too often, or I don't have a lot of regrets, because I feel like things happen for a reason. And whether, something is successful now or not, it's like, it's okay. I think it's part of the process. It teaches us to be better and to not look backwards so much, because I feel like if we look backwards too much, then we think about all the things that, oh, we could have had, or oh, we could have done this. But it's like, oh, well, I could just do that now. Like why focus too much on that? Because it's just like not helping the process. So yeah.
Are you religious?
I am shamanism, so I still consider, or my family is still like JackGV, or how we say like the old traditions, or the old religion or shamanism. So I still do that. I'm not like super into it as much anymore, because my parents haven't really done much in that area. But I still, because I grew up with it, I still believe a lot of things, and I still consider a lot of things. Yeah.
Have you had any like crazy encounters?
I have not. That's
Not
like
yet?
the hardest part, right? It's like, because I've been around people who have experienced like crazy ass like spiritual things, and I'm just like, oh wow, or like possessions and stuff. But I'm just like, I don't know. I've never like experienced any of that. Even like sleep paralysis, right? To me, I kind of understood the logical sense of it, right? Where like, oh, your brain's awake, but your body's still like trying to wake up. But to me, I've never experienced anything where it's like, oh my gosh, there's like a spiritual like, I don't know, vibe or something's going on, So yeah.
What is your biggest insecurity?
I think it's more of like where I'm at in my life. I mean, given that I don't like what I was saying earlier, where I don't really have a lot of regrets, but sometimes I do think about that, and I'm like, dang, I feel like I could be so much more too. But then I have to constantly always go back and forth between that, and it's a battle, right? It's always like, oh, well, some days I'm like winning, and I feel good. But some days I do like feel like, damn, I'm losing. Like I'm really letting it get to myself. Or I think that's probably it that I have for that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
That wraps up our 20 question. We'd like to thank JackGV for being on here.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks. If you guys want to go check out 3N Show, follow them on social medias, and I'm really glad that you guys want to do this podcast episode with me. So yeah.